Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Rick Walker. Welcome back to the Maverick News channel. There's a big battle brewing, huge fight, and I don't know exactly where to begin. Tonight, the front line for this battle is in Canada. And there is a big question to be settled, a dispute. Inquiring minds want to know. How do you spell it? W-A-C-K-O? W-A-C-K-E-A-U? Canadians really, it's like everything, man. Divided, opposed. There are very distinct battle lines being drawn on this issue tonight. Wacko! How do you spell it? We'll present the evidence. We'll present both sides of the story, and you'll have to decide for yourself. And we have new video tonight supporting Pierre Poilievre's assertion that the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, is wacko. I'll be right back.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, we have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to go live to, I guess, a test launch of some kind for Boeing. They're playing catch up in the space race in the private sector. I guess they have a capsule ready to launch some human beings like spam in a can up into the final frontier. So we'll dig into that tonight. What else do we have? We have, oh my, I have so much on my list. I'm going to show you the new SpaceX spacesuit. We're going to show you, I I think if we have time, the capture of an American tank, an Abrams tank, big deal in Ukraine, I guess. The mighty Abrams captured. Canadian forces. They have what people thought was their new logo. It's just a prototype, but it has sparked controversy. We'll show you that as well. Jagmeet Singh, the new Democratic Party leader in Canada, talking about free birth control, and he's a threatening Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader. We'll show you what he had to say about all that. Free birth control. And, yeah, there's the kind of the big things, and anti-Semitism on campuses in the United States, the home front war between pro-Palestinian protesters, demonstrators, uprisers versus the pro-America, pro-Israel contingent continues, but is sort of fading away, at least for the weekend, it seems, not really quite resonating in the news cycle in the way that it was earlier, even just yesterday and earlier in the week. But we'll discuss it a little bit tonight. So all kinds of stuff to get into this evening. But let's start from the beginning, which is about Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. He released a new video today because it is May the 4th, and Trudeau is a huge Star Wars fan, major geek. So I have to admit, I love Star Wars too. I mean, 1977, the release of the first Star Wars film, I was hooked from the beginning, man. I can't tell you how many times I went to see that movie. So if there is one thing, and maybe one thing only, that I agree with when it comes to Justin Trudeau, it is that Star Wars was not just a great movie, it's a great franchise. But he's under fire for his latest Star Wars video that he stars in. Some people loving it, other people, like Ezra Levant, not so much. I guess some people are trying to show him in sort of a negative light with this tongue-in-cheek video, saying that he's kind of, well, juvenile, maybe? Oh, man. Well, that looks like a weird video, too. Maybe I'll run that one. I just came across this thing, but I'll get into that maybe later. I won't even tell you what it is until I come back to it. I'm queuing up the new Justin Trudeau video. I think we should start with that to sort of set the stage. Should we? Should we set the stage with that? Or should we start with the Wacko video? Let's start with the Wacko video, and we'll do it chronologically. It's maybe the strongest video we have anyway. And this was earlier in the week when Pierre Poilievre, the Conservative leader of Canada, called Justin Trudeau a wacko, got kicked out of Parliament. Where'd you go, Pierre? Yeah, it's political theater, that's for sure. Well, I'll tell you what, let's start with, I've changed my mind. We're going to start with the new, because it's the newest. So we'll dig into this first. It's the new, no, I have it queued up. I do. I already have it. Okay, we'll do this. Here's the video that started it all earlier in the week. Pierre Poilievre in the House of Commons, Parliament, question period. And this is where he scored big points by getting kicked out of the House.
It is a choice for him to implement extremist policies that have taken the lives of 2,500 British Columbians every single year. Since the NDP has asked him to reverse course on his and formerly their radical policy, 22 British Columbians have died of drug overdoses. But he continues to allow those drugs to kill the people in our hospitals and on our public transit. When will we put an end to this wacko policy by this wacko Prime Minister?
No. That is not there are a couple of things which are going on here today, which is not acceptable. And I ask all members, please, to keep themselves, to control themselves. I'm going to ask two things. One, I'm going to ask the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to withdraw that term, which is not considered parliamentary.
Mr. Speaker, I replace wacko with extremist. He is an
The Honourable Member to please. I'm going to ask the Leader of the Opposition once again to just withdraw that comment, please. And I'll invite the Honourable Member. I'm going to ask the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to please withdraw that comment and simply withdraw that comment.
I'll replace it with radical Baptist policy.
I am not asking to replace. I'm asking the Honourable Member to just simply withdraw.
Mr. Speaker, I replace the word wacko with extremist.
I'm going to ask the Honourable Leader of the Opposition one last time to please withdraw that comment and simply withdraw that comment.
I simply withdraw and replace with the aforementioned adjective.
Uh-oh, he's going to get a spanking.
Mr. Polyev, I have to name you for disregarding the authority of the chair. Pursuant to the authority granted to me by Standing Order 11, I order you to withdraw from the House and from any participation by video conference for the remainder of this day's sitting.
Okay, so that's the way it started earlier this week, and then after that, it kind of went viral in its own way. So, yeah, and I think we're going to get wacko Trudeau T-shirts here. Some people seem to want them. Oh, it's funny, man. It's just theater. Don't take it too personally, Justin. It's just part of your job. You know that. Wacko. Today, Trudeau kind of helped things along by releasing this video marking May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. He's a big Star Wars fan. Okay, here, let's watch the video. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Take it away, Justin.
Hey, Hayden, how you doing?
Prime Minister, happy May the 4th.
And to you too, my friend. I've actually told the kids they better be binging Star Wars.
Amazing. And so what's your plan?
I'm working. I'm actually packing up my stuff because I got to hit the road soon. But listen, May the 4th be with you.
And with you.
Uh-oh. He's armed and dangerous, man. What's he gonna do with that lightsaber? And there's been some speculation or some talk about, like, what exactly is his lightsaber? How was it made? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why it's such a big issue, but some people are talking about that. Now, things escalated from there, man, in the House, and we've seen pushback, some pushback. So here's Ara Farani. This is back in February, and here he is. If you think Polyev is the only one who throws verbal barbs, think again. This is stuff coming back the other way. This is this member of parliament calling Polyev an effing tool. Jeez. Oh, you thought that these guys were well behaved? Hardly. All right. Just a language warning. Language warning. Cover your ears if you're easily offended.
Why don't we focus on things we can actually do, like getting tough with organized crime and anti-money laundering?
Listen carefully. Right there. I'll run it one more time.
Opposed to mandatory minimums for car auto.
Why don't we focus
One
on
more
things
time.
we can actually do, like getting tough with organized crime and anti-money laundering?
Oh my gosh.
The honorable leader
Oh.
of the opposition.
All right. Look, man, I don't know if this is news, but people are talking about it. So there it is. Okay. It's just, all these serious things facing us, and we have this going on. This is what people seem to care most about. Oh, wow. And then my good friend Derek Smith out in Calgary, I reposted this, I guess, or he said, who did this? I don't know if he did it or if somebody else did it. But check this one out. And this is where the big controversy comes into play, man. I'm telling you, people in Canada, they're divided. We just don't know. We can't agree on how to spell wacko. Is it W-A-C-K-E-A-U or W-A-C-K-O? I've been spelling it W-A-C-K-O. But see, I think this is more like the French. The French pronunciation, you know. Hey, these are wacko. So if you're saying it with a French accent, which is that he's wacko, you see it's the inflection at the end. Wacko, he's wacko. Then it's E-A-U. But if you're just calling him a wacko, like a simpleton anglophone like myself, then it's just O. How about that? Can we agree on that? Depends on how you say it. There are two versions of wacko with the same meaning. Justin Trudeau is the wacko. Oh, how about this? He's the wacko Prime Minister of the Wacko Party of Canada. Oh. You know, Trudeau has been a lifelong Star Wars fan and always in the limelight. And I don't want to miss this Boeing thing either, but we'll get to that in a moment. Here it is. Where is he here? I've got video of him when he was a little kid. I did. Here it is. Here it is right here. Yeah, this is Trudeau when he was a little kid going to Return of the Jedi. And the media shows up. He's there with his dad, Pierre Trudeau. And the media takes a look at him here. Now, I don't know if I can run this because CBC stuff, it's probably copyrighted. I'm not going to run the clip because they'll probably nail me with copyright. But I'll just show you a couple of still shots. So this is at the premiere, well, actually the sneak peek is what it was, of Return of the Jedi. Of course, special privilege for a special little boy. Got to go to the sneak peek. Media there in advance. And there he is with his dad. And he said that the movie was awesome and was better than he expected. So he comes by it honestly. And I guess how old is Justin Trudeau? How old is Justin Trudeau? 52? Oh, he's just a youngling. I'm older than he is. Yeah, don't worry, Justin. You'll be over the hill just like me soon, too. 52. I didn't realize he was that old. See, it doesn't seem that old to me. Doesn't act his age. Oh, man. Oh, what can I say? But there he is. He was there with some friends. His dad, Return of the Jedi, today, making his own little Star Wars short. And here he is. In social media, people were, especially during his honeymoon phase, when people were swooning over him, in particular, women who were like, oh, he has such nice hair, and I love his socks. And there he is. Oh, look, there's a Millennium Falcon behind him on the shelf. People made a big deal out of that. Why, I don't know, but they did. They cared about the stupidest of things, honestly. And here are his Chewbacca socks. Mr. Fancy Socks himself. Mr. Prime Minister. And your Chewbacca socks, your Star Wars socks, Mr. Socks. There they are, just over on the right-hand side, see? Everybody, they're very worried about your socks. And here he is. He's posing with Chewbacca. It's Mr. Chewbacca, and Justin Trudeau wants to take away his gun. Mr. Chewbacca, I want your blaster, sir. Or your blaster control in this country. And there's his C-3PO socks, too. He has C-3PO socks. And his best friends are stormtroopers and Darth Vader, of course, eh? Because they're all totalitarian authoritarians trying to take over the galaxy, and together they made a deep and dark, a secret deal. They had a secret meeting. And when he was departing the Death Star, he shook hands with the stormtroopers and gave Darth Vader a great big kiss on the helmet. And again, I don't know if this is news, but it is May the 4th. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you, man. I don't know what else to tell you. He has a funny smile sometimes. You ever notice that? And I was thinking, what do you call someone who is a Star Wars fan? You're either a Trekker or a Trekkie if you like Star Trek. But if you like Star Wars, I guess there's no real name to call someone who's I've heard Warzy, but I don't think that's really stuck. So whatever it is, Trudeau's definitely on the Star Wars side of the equation. Doesn't talk so much about Star Trek, but he's always there for May the 4th. So may the 4th be with all of us today as we embark on this next chapter of humanity, such as it is. We're all venturing into the final frontier, it looks like tonight. We're going to head off to this NASA Boeing Starliner crew flight test launch with NASA in a few minutes. So it's fitting, I suppose, given that we're talking about space cadets. Wacko space cadets. Boeing is going to launch astronauts into space aboard a new capsule. They've had delays and problems, but they're finally poised to launch astronauts to the International Space Station for NASA. So it's going to be the first flight of Boeing's Starliner capsule with a crew on board. They'll put a pair of human beings into a spam can and light the fuse, send them off into the atmosphere and hopefully up into space, and hopefully they arrive at the space station safe and sound. They're way behind companies like SpaceX. But Boeing is finally ready to get the job done. One has to wonder, though, with the quality control issues that they've been facing, if the doors are going to stay on that capsule. I guess we'll find out a little bit more in a minute when we go to the live feed from NASA to mark the beginning of this test. So I guess, what's this thing look like? It's white with black and blue trim. What's white and black and blue all over with trim? Or trimmed up with blue? It's the Boeing Starliner capsule. It's about 10 feet tall, 15 feet in diameter, and it can fit up to 7 people. Apparently. But I guess the optimum number, or the optimal number, is 4. It's called the Starliner. And this time, I don't think they're taking William Shatner with them. So who is going to be the crew? Veteran NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, and retired Navy captains. They're going to be, I guess, aboard. They're joined on the test flight, or will be joined. Am I reading this right? I've got the information up in front of me here. I don't really know who it is. Wilmore, I don't. This is confusing, this information that they've sent out. We'll find out more in a few minutes when we actually get to the live feed, I guess. So all this is set to rock and roll, I think, on Monday. And we are going to show you the live feed coming out of NASA in just a moment. Yeah. Let me just confirm the date on this, because I'm pretty sure it is coming up not tomorrow, but the next day. Let's check on the feed, see if we're live yet. No, it's not. There's not going to be a feed. No, they changed the darn thing. All right, no feed tonight. No feed. I guess there won't be one now until Monday. I don't know what they're doing over there. False alarm, false launch. Abort, ladies and gentlemen. That's okay. We have other news to talk about tonight. So the live feed is cut. Not going to happen. End of that. No problem. We'll just carry on as though nothing happened. Okay. Here's a message tonight from the president of Columbia University. Let's just shift gears a little bit. Bring things back a little bit more in line with the serious news of the day. Let's hear what she has to say about these protests that have been happening. This is not super fresh, but we haven't run this here yet, and I would imagine most of you have not seen this. So I'm going to share it with you now.
These past 2 weeks have been among the most difficult in Columbia's history. The turmoil and tension, division and disruption have impacted the entire community. You, our students, have paid an especially high price. You lost your final days in the classroom and residence halls. For those of you who are seniors, you're finishing college the way you started, online. No matter where you stand on any issue, Columbia should be a community that feels welcoming and safe for everyone. We tried very hard to resolve the issue of the encampment through dialogue. Many people who gathered there were largely peaceful and cared deeply about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Academic leaders talked with students for 8 days and nights. The university made a sincere and good offer but it was not accepted. A group of protesters crossed a new line with the occupation of Hamilton Hall. It was a violent act that put our students at risk, as well as putting the protesters at risk. I walked through the building and saw the damage, which was distressing. But despite all that has happened, I have confidence. During the listening sessions I held with many students in recent months, I've been heartened by your intelligence, thoughtfulness, and kindness. The ones that impressed me the most were those who acknowledged that the other side had some valid points. We need more of that at Columbia. Every one of us has a role to play in bringing back the values of truth and civil discourse that polarization has severely damaged. Here at Columbia, parallel realities and parallel conversations have walled us off from other perspectives. Working together, I know we can break down these barriers. As many of you know, I was born in the Middle East. I grew up in a Muslim family with many Jewish and Christian friends. I spent 2 decades working in international organizations with people from every nationality and religion in the world, where if you can't bridge divides and see the other side's point of view, you can't get anything done. I learned from that experience that people can disagree and still make progress. The issues that are challenging us, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, anti-Semitism, and anti-Arab and anti-Muslim bias, have existed for a long time. And Columbia, despite being a remarkable institution, cannot solve them single-handedly. What we can do is be an exemplar of a better world, where people who disagree do so civilly, recognize each other's humanity, and show empathy and compassion for one another. We have a lot to do, but I am committed to working at it every day and with each of you to rebuild community on our campus.
And there's that. Well, that's going on. We have this guy representing the Houthis. And I guess he is saying that they want to take in, at the University of Sana'a, activists who have been expelled from university in the United States. This is an interesting development. So, you know, we've seen this past week protesters on their knees, bowing down and participating in Islamic prayer sessions. And then this guy's saying, come on over to Yemen. If you got expelled, we'll take you. And so you go there, and you know what they're going to teach you. It won't be Western values. I guarantee that. Maybe a little Islamofascism with a healthy dose of authoritarianism and a whole heap and help of religion. And it's not going to be Christianity. Guaranteed. If you're gay, if you're a lesbian, transgender, LGBTQS+, or any other letter of the alphabet, I don't recommend you go. Just saying. Just saying. But hey, different strokes for different folks. If you're with Queers for Palestine, knock yourself out. Go ahead. How about this dude? It says here, Bradford has rejected Zionism. Anyone that stands with Zionism, we are coming after you. Free Palestine! Labor suffered key losses in areas with high Muslim populations over Gaza, where, yeah, they've had elections. In places like Britain, where the London mayor has been elected now for 3 terms. That's historic. I don't think it's ever been done before. Interesting. And let's listen to what this guy has to say. Go ahead, take it
Today
away.
in Bradford, not only have we taken Little Houghton, Great Houghton, Manningham, Heaton, City Ward, and Collar. I'm going to tell you something here. This is a clear message to Starmer. Bradford has rejected Labour. It's rejected Zionism. And this is a message to you, Nash Shah and Imran Hussain. We are coming for you in the general election. Anyone that stands with Zionism, we're coming after you. Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Well, isn't that nice? Fantastic. So, these guys here, well, it's a clash. The clash. The two sides, positive and negative, negative and positive. This sucks. This whole thing sucks, actually, man. Like, things haven't sucked this much since in a long time. Yeah. These people hate America. These people still love it. Oh, that's nice talk. That's fantastic, isn't it? Let's have civil discourse. Go F yourself. It's just, that's like, did you see that guy jumping up and down yelling, "The Students United will never be defeated"? Like, does he even know what he's protesting about? Probably not. Not really. It's just mass formation psychosis. It's like these chants, they're used as a tool to indoctrinate people and get people to get out there in numbers and support anything. You know, it's like the flavor of the day, the issue du jour. Jeez. Oh, these Einsteins, I'm telling you. You know, new information coming out. They've had intelligence, and just some studies, research. They've been digging into the backgrounds, I guess, cops and government intelligence services, and they've been looking into, you know, who these protesters really are. And I guess this is at Columbia. They've determined that about a third, at least a third of the protesters aren't even students. I told you the other night that there was information about who was funding these things. It's, you know, Soros, it's foreign governments. We showed you evidence. Here's a report actually referring to some of this from NBC tonight. Says when James Carlson was arrested inside Columbia University's Hamilton Hall, he was already under investigation for snatching an Israeli flag out of a man's hand near campus and setting it on fire. Isn't that nice? That wasn't the first time Carlson, who has no affiliation with Columbia, had run afoul of the law. He was arrested in San Francisco in 2005 during a violent protest organized by an anarchist group. Love those anarchists. They just love chaos. That's what they're all about. Wouldn't that be great if they formed in the next government and we would just have like complete disorder all the time for everyone? Anarchy. That's what I want. I'm for crying out loud. So there he is, stirring things up. That's what he basically is a great big, excuse my language, shit disturber. Yeah, so the intelligence, they know this. He's known to police. He's the 40-year-old animal rights lawyer, of course he is among the group of professional outsiders cast by the New York City Police Department and mayor as having a significant role in the takeover of Hamilton Hall. Why am I not surprised? the same people. You see them all the time. Large, drawn-out protests like the one at Columbia have a tendency to attract people with a diffuse set of ideologies and motivations, experts say. Roughly 30% of those arrested at Hamilton Hall on Tuesday had no affiliation with the school, according to university officials. But while there is no doubt the occupation of the building amounted to a dramatic escalation in tactics, it remains unclear how large an influence outsiders like Carlson have had on the overall student protest movement at Columbia and nearby colleges, which began more than 2 weeks ago, blah, 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 blah. And then the media, which I would say is, you can throw it either way, I guess, and make your arguments, but I would say the mainstream media is pretty pro-Palestine. Overall. And they're making excuses for this guy, for his bad behavior. There they are with other signs, side issues. We believe Stormy Daniels. Once again, Trump got caught with his pants down. So what's that? This woman's name is Fithian. Lisa Fithian. Video released by the city showed a 63-year-old activist, Lisa Fithian, at the center of the action, directing the protesters on how to barricade the doors and referring to Wilson as his friend and his friends as, excuse the language, assholes. This is a reference to, who are they? Who's Wilson? Just so I'm accurate here. Somebody they don't like. Rory Wilson, 22, a Columbia senior, who did not participate in the protests. So she says Rory Wilson, 22-year-old Columbia, who's a senior student at the university, yeah, he's an asshole. And there she is holding up her "We Believe Stormy Daniels" signs. In other words, I don't think she's a conservative. She might be a little bit on the left. And did you see some of these protests and clashes with police? Did you see the umbrellas? Telltale sign. Where do you see umbrellas all the time? Think, folks, if you're not cluing in. At Antifa rallies, protests, mostly peaceful, violent demonstrations. They use the umbrellas for cover to conceal their identities and, honestly, their weapons. That's why they have them. All right, if it's just carrying my umbrella on this bright sunshiny day, no, it's not a weapon, even though it's got a pointy end on it and pointy things on the ends or all the way around the edges, and it's a pole. You can jab somebody with it, and the cops are trying to pull the umbrellas away from some of these uprisers. Same people, I'm telling you. It's the same people. I mean, you've got your organic component to it, but no. These people are known to police, known to authorities, and they're out there agitating again. They are not friendly to America. And they're using this issue to really ramp it up. But this is too much. This, honestly, I mean, I can't even. This is not funny at all. I do see humor in the stupidity around a lot of this stuff, but not this. You see, this shows a group of protesters. They're surrounding and tormenting and intimidating this Jewish student. This has been making the rounds on social media, and either way, whatever, I don't care what your religion is, your skin color, I don't care. Nobody deserves to be treated like this, and I thought we were over this stuff, folks. This is way too much. If you're not awake yet, I hope this wakes you up. All right.
Well, you have been shining a strobing flashlight in them for a long time.
Wanted to go to class.
I'm doing it for a reason. Yeah.
To the building. On campus.
Getting the message? be? I don't know. I walk this way.
You ain't walking into the camp. You're not walking into the camp. Turn around. You're barking up the wrong tree, kid. Turn around. Get the fuck out of here. We've had a long night, bud. We're done playing games, motherfucker. You know what's good for you, you're gonna get the fuck out of here right now. I fucking mean it. You want me to start counting?
I guess. What'll you do when you finish counting?
Oh, you wanna find out? Come on, scurry along. I'm running out of patience.
It's only been 5 minutes.
Oh, I've had a long night with motherfuckers like you.
Not motherfuckers like him.
Oh, no, you're right, you're right. Yeah, no, they at least had some guts.
This guy doesn't seem to have much behind.
No. Looks soft. He's got soft hands.
It's definitely a soft face.
Yeah.
Fragile.
Yep. Hope you got a good doctor.
Hope so.
Yeah, health insurance.
Yeah, how's your dental plan? Come on, run along now. Play somewhere else.
Gotta get to school soon, too.
You guys have to get to school.
Well, your principal's gonna worry about you.
I see.
Hey, you got something on your shirt there.
Show you something funny.
Ooh, got him! Got him! Fucking clown. Get the fuck out of here. Come on, we're done with you.
Excuse my language. Fuck those pricks. I mean it.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow, maybe too late. Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, back to outer space for a moment. I didn't run this yet, but I wanted to show you this just because it's cool spacey stuff, and I like cool spacey stuff, so I'm going to share it with you. This is Elon Musk's new spacesuit. I want one. Okay, this is an extravehicular activity suit, an EVA suit. And like I said, they're kind of ahead of Boeing, which can't even keep the can't keep the doors and the panels on its planes these days. But anyway, who wants to go into outer space on a Boeing space capsule? Anybody want to go for a ride on a Boeing space capsule? How many guys have died? How many whistleblowers? Oh, wow. What the heck's going on with that stuff? Anyway, here's the EVA suit from SpaceX.
Suit flow initiated. Stand by for Dragon venting sequence.
See, if I had one of those, I wouldn't mind winter so much. That's what you need if you live in Canada. I suppose it could be, it's air conditioned too in the summer, right? Yeah.
SpaceX is go for EVA operations. Suit flow initiated.
And there you go. So I guess this suit is like better than the last suit. It's just, whatever. Like, I don't know. It's cool, man. It looks like it's out of a movie. That's all I care about, honestly. I don't really even know a lot about it. I don't have a lot of information. It's just a cool spacesuit. What can I tell you? It's they're gonna wear it when they go to outer space. So what am I going to say? I have the information here, and I haven't even read it yet. But they're going to go on a 5-day mission on something, I guess, some mission, because they keep launching these crews into space. I've seen some of those SpaceX rockets blow to bits too. I don't think I really want to ride on any of them, honestly. It's like, here, we're going to light your butt on fire and send you into space in this spam can. During the 5 days mission, the crew will conduct SpaceX's inaugural extravehicular activity from the Dragon spacecraft, making it the first commercial astronaut spacewalk. And they're going to wear that super duper spacesuit there. This historic event will also be the first instance of 4 astronauts being exposed to the vacuum of space at the same time. How you feeling over there? Kind of vacuumed out. That reminds me, when I was in college, there was a guy who was a classmate, and just, oh my God, they called him Hoover. You know why they called him Hoover? Because he smoked so much dope. It was like he did not graduate. Okay, so anybody that thinks hoovering up a bunch of weed is gonna help you academically, I have empirical evidence to suggest otherwise. Anyway, everybody called him Hoover. He was very popular at parties, as I understand it, but not very successful academically. Don't know where he is today. Wait a minute, I might have seen him pushing that shopping cart. Oh, I'm in a weird mood tonight. I'm sorry. This is why I don't get hired to host the CBS Evening News. Could you imagine me trying to fill Walter Cronkite's shoes all these years later? I'd have to seriously get serious. Is Joe Biden serious? He's actually talking about bringing Gazan refugees into the country after everything, all the bad stuff that's happened there. You think they love America? I got news for you, man. Probably not a great idea. Who's calling me? I don't know. Hang on a second here. I'm going to put you on hold. Hang on. Let me go to a break here while I answer this call. I think I know who it is.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching. Exile. The Knights of Malta. Maverick News. Join us. The world is watching.
I don't know if this is going to be funny or not. Just something came to mind about the spacesuit thing. You ever see that movie with Harland Williams, the comedian? What's that movie? I got to tell you about this. What's the name of the movie? He does this space movie, and he does this. It's hilarious. Rocket Man. Yeah, 1997. I'll show you. There's this scene. Do you guys know the scene I'm talking about? Do you know who I'm talking about? The movie wasn't really that, not a huge hit. This guy, probably the most underrated comedian ever. I think he's hilarious. Anybody remember Rocket Man, the movie? I'm going to check the chat. This scene, it comes to mind. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Anybody know Rocket Man? I don't see anybody commenting. No, maybe I'm the only one who saw it. Probably. I used to. I had a video store. I've seen all the obscure movies, all the art films. That's what I did with a lot of my time when I was young. I went to the Repertory Cinema downtown, where they ran all the obscure art films and all the weird stuff. Before there were video stores, I was doing that. When I was just like a young kid, I'd go down there and I watched all the weird stuff. Like My Dinner with Andre, but Rocket Man. Let's stay on topic, Rick. Okay, look, Rocket Man. This is hilarious. He had a spacesuit too. There they are in Rocket Man, and they're connected. He's on the moon with this other guy, and I don't remember everything about it, but there's a telltale sign here about what this is about. So these two guys, they're connected. They're tethered together, sharing an air supply. And, of course, you know what happens. He farts. Oh, my God. It's just, they make flying into space look so glamorous, right? They make it look so adventurous, so adventuresome, or whatever. Oh my God! You want to know what the reality of flying in space was? I think it's maybe a little bit better today, but I don't know how you do it when you're up there. Okay, oh, I'm in such a strange mood tonight. You can't just stop at the nearest rest station, Okay, so when you're in outer space, you have to. You have to do it Joe Biden style, and use your space diaper. Jesus. Oh, I don't know. Why do women find astronauts so attractive? I'm kind of like, no, not cool, man. Not cool at all. You poo your pants. Jesus. Oh my God. It's just, that's what astronauts do. Are you ready to come in there, Joseph? Oh my God. Let's bring our friend in here who hasn't been on the show in a while and see what he has to say about astronauts and their poopy pants. Oh my God. You came in at the perfect time. What a stupid show this is.
Well, my green screen ain't working. Let me. Can you hear me?
I can hear. Yes, I can.
Okay.
Mission control over to Joseph. Yes.
Yeah, my background.
Over to the mothership.
There we go. Now my background's working. Yeah. What the bleep did you bring me into?
I just. Oh my God.
Did somebody slip you some magic mushrooms?
No, they don't. Look, it's not even on my list. Okay, on my story list for tonight. It's like I just came up with it. It's just, I was thinking too. I didn't even. This wasn't on my list, but I was thinking about it when I was walking Cosmo. These pro-Palestinian protesters, right, Joseph? They're like. When they left their encampments, you know what it looked like? Gaza. After the bombings. I mean, it looks like a shithole.
No.
Okay. It's like, what the hell with these people? Like,
I just dropped my constitutionalist politics show this morning titled "The Issue is Never the Issue." You know the old it's not, the cause is not the cause. The cause is only power, control, the revolution, more tyranny. And the next 2 weeks there'll be subsequent pieces, continued left-wing violence, and let them keep pushing generational shift occurring follow-ups, kind of a 3-part series. And I forget which of the 3 episodes, because I've recorded them all already, I go into that. It looks, these left-wing loons who claim to be envirotards, it looks like a war zone.
I know. It's like if you want to turn your university into a shithole, just invite all these lunatics to enroll. It's like, and then let them do their thing, and they'll just turn it into a great big shithole.
Yeah,
That's what they've done.
And the man on the street style interviews again demonstrates a lot of these people are just there. They have no clue why they're there. Yeah. They just want to be right. They know to parrot free Palestine, but ask them, where was there ever a Palestinian nation? Blank stare. Who was an emperor, prime minister, president, whatever, of Palestine? Blank stare. Never existed. Never was one. Where did the term Palestinian come from? They have no idea the history of the Roman emperor, labeling them from biblical Philistines occupying Judeo land that the Romans displaced. They were occupiers, and it was a slur the Romans gave them. They don't know anything but to parrot Free Palestine.
Well, it's got a good rhythm and a good beat, and you can dance to it. So it's like, and I'm sure there are a lot of heads blowing up because of what you just said. If you listen to, I don't know, Max Blumenthal or Richard Medhurst, Enemy of America, they'll tell you a completely different tale. So 2 very opposing or opposite points of view, Joseph. Do you care to elaborate on what you've said about Palestine not ever really being a real nation state?
Well, again, show me any map where there was a nation of Palestine. Yes, some maps, including from the British, labeled a Palestinian territory, again, based on the Roman emperor label and designation of such. No such nation existed. 5 times they were offered a Palestine nation. 5 times.
That's actually 10, Joseph. Sorry,
You're right,
man.
yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. 5 times. One hand.
Now you're now you're an evil Mason, okay? And part of the Rothschilds clan. Because now I am too. I'm sorry.
Well,
oops.
White power, brother. White power, right? Yeah. Oh, God almighty.
Well, you're A-okay with me, so it's all right.
But no, 5 times they were offered a Palestinian nation to be formed. They rejected it every single time. Now, in Gaza, indeed, Hamas was elected by the people. They had peace. They had self-rule. Israel was out of it. Who broke that peace? They did on October 7th. So you don't get to dictate the terms of Israeli surrender when they are defeating you after you started the war. And now that you're losing, you want them to surrender. What? That's not how these things work.
Well, I'm glad we got you back on here tonight to share your views on it. We've had so many people opining on this, not just here, but on, everywhere. Everybody seems to have an opinion on this one way or another, and I hear a lot of different versions of history when it comes to Palestine, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, show me it in the history books. Again, I could show you on a map a Palestinian territory labeled by the British based on the Roman Emperor declaration of such, but never, ever a nation. Show me one Palestinian nation minted coin. Show me. Mm-hmm. Show me the proof. Show it to me.
Well,
I've got facts. They've got feelings and preferred narratives.
Yeah, and a conscious decision to ignore the outcome of like World War II.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I know they didn't win the war. You're just a bunch of colonizers. Pick your war. Like they just ignore it. They want to relitigate today, and as though this is what I'm saying. So
I'm glad you used that term, right? Leftist idiocy. You're a bunch of colonizers. Say the people occupying land that doesn't belong to them to protest on. A colonization, if you will. They will not understand the hypocrisy of it because they don't know the words except for what they want to twist and manipulate them to be. And again, all of history is one group invading another group. The Native Americans weren't pure, living on the land in peace and harmony. What belonged to the Cherokee once belonged to the Blackfoot, once belonged to the whatever other tribe. They took land back and forth from each other too. So spare me your ignorance of history.
And if you want to talk about the First Nation stuff, we could really dig into it in another program, because what we've seen happening here in Canada is the Prime Minister and the Liberals up here in Canada, like they are rewriting treaties. They've rewritten now, I think, 26 of them. which now those 26 treaties cover about 40% of the landmass of Canada. So, and they're going to continue to go. They just had another news conference Thursday, I think it was, to talk about this. I ran clips from it with Justin Trudeau. This is transformative as well, and this is. I haven't read these treaties. I want to. I've read some of the old ones, and but there's a much bigger story behind all of this, and that's why they were at McGill University in Montreal, and the chant that was broadcast here live when our good friend and contributor Dragon was out there doing great work, live streaming from McGill. You could hear the chant. From Turtle Island to Palestine, occupation is a crime. So what does that mean? Do you know what Turtle Island is? It's all of North America and part of Central America, which means they want all of that land returned. Anybody who's here that they deem to be a colonizer, I guess, has to go or pay rent, or I don't know what it is. So where does that go?
And again, they use it occupation from people who are doing what? Invading a piece of property and occupying it that doesn't belong to them. They won't get it. They will never get it. They can't see beyond their slogan to understand the hypocrisy.
Except that I think that the people organizing these things, the real driving forces behind it, do understand, because they're getting what they want. They just renegotiated, or I think almost unilaterally agreed to, like, the government was like, yeah, we're just going to rewrite these treaties. We have the United Nations Declaration of Rights for Indigenous Peoples. We have a growing anti-colonialist movement. They've started to inject this ideology, these teachings, this rewriting of history into all of our schools and institutions. You have re-education. The re-education camps of today, honestly, are in corporate America, corporate Canada. It's injected into the corporate culture. When you get a job at any big company now, and you'll have to go through some sort of sensitivity training. I think it's pretty much routine everywhere now. If you get a job at a bank or even at a major grocery store chain, they have some sort of left-wing, woke, progressive training regimen that you have to go through.
Yeah. Well, let's talk history of the U.S. too, because, I'm all for all history, the good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of bad stuff happened here. I'm not for whitewashing it, right? But let's look at some of it, right? Who fought to keep slavery? Democrats. Who enacted Jim Crow laws? The Democrats. Who peddled segregation then and are peddling it again now? They want black only this or black only that or an Asian only this
segregation.
And that. George Wallace. Segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. Democrat, 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 Democrat. Let's go back to the Native Americans. The Trail of Tears. Who was that? A Democrat president. So I'm all for us talking about our bad history. FDR and his concentration camps, though nobody was put into gas ovens, of course. A Democrat. So I'm all for talking about the history. Let's talk about the history. The left doesn't want anyone to know history because it reflects negatively that they did all the bad shit.
Well, today I just see a lot of racism and bigotry that's masked with wokeism and diversity, and language that seems like it's supposed to be tolerant, but it's actually the opposite. It's incredibly intolerant, and it divides people and pits people against each other. And look where we're at. Everybody's fighting.
In both of my next 2 week Saturday drop shows, Constitutionalist Politics 47 and 48, continued left-wing violence, I touch on it. I go into it more on let them keep pushing generational shift occurring. Because, right, D-I-E, not D-E-I, D-I-E, because it's about killing Western culture. Let's look at the segregation thing again. I forgot. Who was it that blocked blacks from going to schools? Democrats. Who is it blocking Jews from going to universities? Democrats. Segregation and blockading and racism or classism, whatever. But diversity, let's examine that. The U.S., and let me include Canada in that too, are the most diverse nations this planet has ever fucking known. We are known as what? E pluribus unum, from many one, the melting pot. Everybody came here. We're diverse, you morons. You're not for diversity. You're only about, again, like today's CTP show. The issue is never the issue, only how it can be twisted for the commie revolution. We are the most diverse nation on the planet. We blended, we melted, we became a new unique culture. We didn't steal from the Spanish, the French, the Mexicans, and we all came together, and out of love and homage, we adopted parts of each other's cultures to create one new unique one. The I of DIE, inclusion. We already went over the segregation. They're not about inclusion. As with everything, the left, it's a lie. The issue is never the issue, only the revolution. More power, division for power and control. Everything the left peddles is a lie.
Oh, and I see that my good friend Mouth of the South is leaving. After, as usual, coming into my house with his muddy boots on, putting them up on my coffee table and then onto my sofa, and then running around and trashing my house and smashing my furniture the way he does every single night, and just comes here to cause problems and destroy the channel. So I'm glad that you're leaving. Thank you, Leo. Goodbye. Yeah. And don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Mouth of the South, probably too much inconvenient truth about the Democrats, and
it wouldn't matter what was said here, Joseph. He would just say the opposite, because he just comes here to cause problems.
No, he's a perfect example. Perfect example of the issue was never the issue.
Yeah.
And a Democrat, a fascicrat, fascicrats as I call them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what they said yesterday. Whatever the narrative needs to be today is all that matters. And if it's to be contrarian to you, it can be contrarian to what he said yesterday. He will contradict it. And, I didn't say that yesterday. I've always believed this. You're lying.
Lori's saying, what did Leo do this time? Lori, it's what he does every time. He comes into the chat. He comes here with the sole purpose of stirring up crap and destroying the channel. That's why we don't do the call-ins as much as we used to. That's why we've got so much trouble in the chat, because he's the problem. But he's still not banned. He's still in there. He said he'd never come back, but there he is. Can't wait for him to come back. He's welcome to come. He's still welcome to come. I just don't know what his freaking problem is. Why does he, I let him come in there. I let him kick me in the groin every single night. That's all he's here for. It's just ridiculous. But hey, you know what? For all the people who are succumbing to his peer pressure and his bullying and the threats of being excluded from his little group, you go ahead and follow him, because he's just a big bully. That's what he is. And I'm tired of the guy coming into, again, my house and trashing the furniture and pissing on my carpet, and then standing there going, What? I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's doing.
Well,
And
that's what the left
he's
does,
left, so
right?
good.
It's
Not bad.
all-
He'll be back.
Yeah, it's all hate. It's all spite. It's all envy. It's all jealousy. It's all right. They can't earn their own stuff. They want to steal it from you.
I guess so. Whatever. But if people here, you want to go over. I don't tell anybody where to go. It's like, you want to go watch that? Go watch whatever show you want, man. You want to go hang out in the chat over go ahead. Do you want to come here? Come here. If you want to be friends with Leo, go ahead. You can still be friends with me. It doesn't bother me at all. Bothers him, though. He doesn't want anybody to be my friend anymore because he's just like freaking high school. Anyway, enough talk about him. Enough of that. I just noticed him in the chat, going off about you and about everything again and trashing the furniture and peeing on my carpet. So...
Yeah, and you can see it above my head. Principles before personalities. Principles, not personalities.
Joseph, really why I asked you to come on tonight was because of Christi Noem. And I know Christi is your VP,
I love her.
Dream
I love her.
pick, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring you on because I thought, well, you talked about it and you haven't been on for a while and she's into trouble now because of her new book. So I had to get you here to ask you some questions about Christi Noem because she shot her dog.
Well, I am not a cultist for anyone. I don't put on the hyper-partisan hat. Obviously, this is an issue now, but so I'm conflicted. I've gone back and forth and all around. There are things I could say to defend her. There are things I could say to, indeed, again, it's a rural-urban thing. But now, did she eat the dog like Obama? Of course, putting on my red hat, I gotta say that. Right?
Wait a minute. Obama ate a dog?
Yeah. Oh, you don't know that?
I don't know that story. What are you talking about?
Yeah. While in Indonesia or whatever, he ate dog. It became
on.
Really, you can look it up. He doesn't deny it. It's like eating a dog is okay, but, and here's where I defend her a little, is the left, of course, wants to focus Zelensky style to attack she shot a dog, leaving out the part that it was aggressive and potentially a danger to others. Unlike Biden's two dogs that bit people like crazy and probably should have been put down because they're danger to other people, overly aggressive, should have been put down. But we're not allowed to talk about that. The way she did it, of course, is the problem. But that, again, is the difference between how things are often done out on the farm versus how you take the dog that's aggressive, might maul a child if you're not careful, and euthanize it. That's the issue here. Of course, the left cannot have that honest conversation. So, yes, it's a problem. Does that knock her down the list? Most likely. It is a liability. But the other thing to say about it is that I think she knew that this was going to be an issue. So you get out front of it. You put it in your book. She could have spun it a little better in her book, right? So let's just be honest. She was a little foolish in the way she was way too honest about it. But I also want to mention about dogs. Romney, remember? Oh my God, Romney put his dog in a crate on. Have you ever had dogs?
I have a dog.
Yeah, my dogs would have loved to have been in a crate on the roof, soaking up all that air. But yet, that was a problem.
Just, well, man, I'm going to shoot video of my dog. I haven't done it in a while. I'm going to go for another walk, and I'm going to show people how my dog does maul me every time we go for a walk. My dog does. He's like, he tackles me from behind. I put him on a long leash, right, so he can have some freedom, because I'm all about freedom, right? I'm like, be free, dog. So when we're out walking, he walks around me. It's not really super long, but he's safe. But he'll get behind me, and then he takes a running leap at me and wraps his front legs around my leg, like a little kid, and then you have to like walk down the street dragging him. He loves that crap. I don't know, man. And people are like, what's wrong with your dog? I'm like, I like it. Because I do. I think it's hilarious. I love it.
But that is, of course, a far cry from Commander and whatever the other Biden dog is. Danger to people, constantly biting people.
Yes, that's right. Oh, my. So what do you think this, okay, let's backtrack a little bit. I think the reason the media came after her so hard is because she was Trump's VP pick. So they used this to try to cancel her before he announced it. What do you think?
I don't have any inside info from people I know as to that. As you know, I like her for a lot of, but let me say this, because I don't doubt there's people, well, what about this? Nobody's perfect. Trump isn't perfect. He's got a lot of issues. I'm supporting him. I'm supporting Christi because she's the best choice. And one of the reasons is I don't like identity politics. You don't like identity politics. But Abraham Lincoln didn't get to say, Gettysburg, Schmettysburg. Just let them have it. Sometimes the enemy dictates a battleground you must fight on. So she checks all the right conservative boxes as well as the identity politics boxes. We do need to fight on that battleground, like it or not. You don't just get to surrender. Surrender means lose. So she's right for all the right reasons. Is she perfect? No. Nobody is. Nobody. Not me, not Rick, not any of you watching today. Nobody.
What does Sherry mean so much for Free Speech Channel? What did I do now? What did I haven't done anything, Sherry. Like what do you think I did? What is it that I don't know.
Maybe she thinks you Leo's probably in some other X group or something claiming you bounced him or something.
Okay, I see.
Right?
Yeah. No, he's not banned. He's been in there the whole time. He left. I didn't make him leave. He worked himself up into a huff. Whatever, man. I didn't ban him. Go ahead. He's not banned. No, he's been kicking me right in the you-know-whats every single night he comes in there. That's his purpose in life now, is to hate me. So, okay. Doesn't have to be. We could still be friends. He just has to stop kicking me in the groin.
Yeah. Dr. Lee, so Obama shot a dog and ate it? No. He didn't shoot the dog. I didn't say he shot a dog.
Somebody else shot the dog. So
you are engaging in leftist spin. Right. Somebody else was growing dogs that we consider part of our family, raising them purposely for slaughter like we would sheep or cow so that Obama could eat a dog. But any other time anybody, again, does anything to a dog, it's a problem. But Obama eats the dog.
Would you call him a bomb bow wow?
No.
Bow wow Obama? Bow wow?
Obama. Obamao. Mao. As in China.
Oh, in China. I thought you were like a bow wow doggy boy.
No, that works too, though. That works.
Now you are what you eat. Oh, my God. Oh, it's not even funny. That's terrible. You should not eat dogs. You know? No, dogs are not for eating. Dogs are for loving and for playing frisbee with and stuff.
Unless they're danger to others, and yes, sometimes they have to be put down. But again, the left, hypocrisy and double standards, whatever Obama did, whatever, that's great. He's God. He can do anything, right? You know, he could come to Rick's house and get Rick's dog and have his cook serve
He's not getting
him up,
anywhere near my dog.
But
Obama comes to my town, and he ain't gonna mow down on my bow wow. No way. No sir. Obama ain't coming anywhere near my house or my dog, and that's a fact. I'm going to warn my dog. If you see Obama coming around, you get the heck out of town. You get away from that guy. Stay away from him. He'll eat you. Oh my God. What was so Christi Noem? Can she bounce back from this, or is the mainstream media going to be merciless and never give up on it?
I think she can. She could. Will she? No, I don't have a crystal ball. Again, she's my number one for VP on the list, so I hope so. But, you know, again, removing partisan hats, obviously the left is going to continue the Zelensky assault, the deflection, the distractions, the distortion, anything and everything to solely focus just the "she shot a dog" soundbite and no context whatsoever. Meanwhile, again, Biden's dogs are dangerous and biting everybody everywhere all the time. You know.
That's right. His dogs are biting people. Obama's dogs actually attack people.
Biden's.
Biden's dogs. Right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Until one of Biden's dogs kills somebody, will be the only time it'll show up on the left radars. Because again, the issue is never the issue, only the revolution. And double standards and hypocrisy will always abound, and lies and distortion is their modus operandi.
This is on X. Somebody posted this saying, "This is a dog's worst nightmare."
Follow the law in your book. What is the law?
Virtually every state has a law in place that says that animals that attack and kill livestock can be put down in situations like this. But I'll tell you, Sean, to farmers and ranchers, they expect it. They know that once an animal like this starts killing just because they enjoy it, that is a very dangerous animal.
No, she's right again, but you cannot let that context out. They won't have that discussion. I've got a sense of humor. That's funny.
This is brutal. Look at this one. Look at this one.
The Gutfeld, Well, the Gutfeld show has had a whole week of Christi Noem jokes. I can laugh at my side. They're funny jokes.
Oh my. I feel so bad for the dog. Oh, this is from Steve Martin. He's like, okay, here, this is him. This is Steve Martin, comedian on X. This is the post with all these dogs sitting in a theater. Everyone move to the front rows. This class can save your life. On the screen behind me is a Christi Noem. Calm down. Study this face, that snarl, the puffy lips. This Noem is a puppy murderer. Loud barking and howling on your way to pick up a brochure and help. And help yourself to some begging strips. It says, let's be careful out there. Christi Noem. Man, I don't even think that's that funny, actually. He's losing it. Steve Martin's losing it. He's lost his touch.
Yeah, he's definitely lost many miles per hour off this fastball. I like him in Murders in the Building with Martin Short and is it Gomez, Selena Gomez, I think. He still can be funny if somebody else is writing him his stuff. But yeah, the Gutfeld stuff has been hilarious all week. And, she's fair game for the pot shots as long as indeed someone like a Gutfeld, they do have a segment and indeed talk about the actual overall overriding facts of the whole thing.
Yeah, so the caption on this is that it says Christi Noem is now claiming that cricket shot first. I guess that's appropriate on May the 4th, since May the 4th be with you. And Han shot first. So here's the clip from Christi Noem defending herself, I guess, on this point.
Well, Sean, you know how the fake news works. They leave out some or most of the facts of a story. They put the worst spin on it. And that's what's happened in this case. I hope people really do buy this book and they find out the truth of this story, because the truth of this story is that this was a working dog and it was not a puppy. It was a dog that was extremely dangerous. It had come to us from a family who had found her way too aggressive. We were her second chance, and the day she was put down was a day that she massacred livestock that were part of our neighbors. She attacked me, and it was a hard decision. And the reason it's in the book is because this book is filled with tough, challenging decisions that I've had to make throughout my life. And I hope that people understand from this that what the point of this story is that most politicians, they will run from the truth. They will shy away and hide from making tough decisions. I don't do either of those. I tell the truth and I make tough decisions. People attacked me during COVID for keeping my state open. They called me wrong and attacked me night after night on TV for not doing mandates and not forcing people to get vaccines or wear masks. They're doing it again now with this. I just hope people will read the book, find out the truth, because this was a dangerous animal. And I had a choice between keeping my small children and other people safe or a dangerous animal, and I chose the safety of my children.
Amen. And I agree wholeheartedly with that.
I think she's a tough cookie. That's what I think. I think she is tough.
Yeah. Everything she said in there, again, the other part, applying it to other things in life, and the mentioning about Ron DeSantis can't say he never shut down Florida. He did. He quickly backpedaled and reversed himself, but he did it. Christi Noem never had 1 second of lockdown in her state. Not 1 second of mandates, masks in her state. Ron DeSantis can't say that. Christi Noem is the right choice for a whole lot of reasons. And again, let me say it over and over, because someone will go on Twitter. Blah, 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 blah. She's not perfect. Nobody is.
So let's lay it out. Who are the contenders, in your view, then, for Trump's running mate? Is she still there?
Well, again, I certainly hope she's on the list. And Trump needs to look at that. And Trump needs to put that, if she's his pick or one of his picks, in consideration. Or even as a decoy to deflect from someone else who may be his pick. That should be on his big screens at his rally, explaining all the facts, the complete context. But yeah, I mean, there are so many. Byron Donalds, well, he can't be VP either because he's from Florida also. I keep getting this, wouldn't it be a dream ticket if it were Trump DeSantis? No, you can't. That's why Dick Cheney had to move from Texas to Wyoming. The president and vice president cannot be from the same state. Or a Byron Donalds, also from Florida, would be up there. I got his Ben Carson. I don't know. I like him for the cabinet again, but as VP, I don't know that he's got the oomph and the put. MTG, oh please. A lot of people. Oh, MTG is AOC with an R by her name. Everyone in
Wait. Back that one up. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
If you want red meat spewed, she's your gal. It's like AOC. She's great for left-wing talking points, but no one in D.C. really takes her seriously. Everyone knows if you want Trump red meat spewed, he's the go-to. But to actually get anything done or that knows anything, really?
So what you're saying is she's very bombastic, but not full of substance. Not to say that she's aligned with AOC on the issues.
No, exactly.
Okay.
No, right. She is the right-wing version of the left-wing AOC. Again, a lot of talk, no real underlying substance, is not taken seriously within the respective party to which they belong. But a lot of people think, well, that's what we need for VP, right? Somebody to be the attack dog on the campaign trail. Well, if that's your criteria, yeah, she's the top of the list. But I want a serious person who can immediately take over 4 years from now for 8 years to continue the MAGA agenda. So other, serious ones, I'm drawing a blank. I mean, there are several. There are a few really good choices.
Tulsi Gabbard, is she still in play?
No. World Economic Forum stooge. The only reason she left the Democrat Party was to potentially be Trump's VP, because that's her only path to power. To play the bipartisan or I'm nonpartisan, a unity left-right ticket, no. Klaus Schwab, World Economic Forum stooge, wouldn't trust her as dog catcher. She might shoot a dog.
Okay, I'm going to say something, and I don't know if I should, but I'm going to go way on a limb, take a huge risk here, and I'm going to throw something out, and it's a curveball. All right, are you ready?
Okay.
Because a lot of people, well, I don't know how many, but there are people out there who really take this seriously. Some. Most people are going to say it's crazy.
RFK, you're not going to
No. You're getting warmer, though. You're getting warmer. And somebody sent me a video last night, and Alex Jones, I guess, was commenting on this. It was on some program, and this came up again. So I'm going to throw it out there. I'll just get your thoughts. Are you ready? Get your catcher's mitt out. I'm going to chuck one in there. Here comes your curveball. Have a good eye. It's fast coming in. It's like over 80 miles an hour. 85. John F. Kennedy Jr.
Well, that would be interesting. But again, at this point, Did you
hear what I said?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, not RFK, right.
John F. Kennedy Jr. I can't get away from it. People keep emailing me and sending me videos. Alex Jones is talking about it. I mean, Joseph, help me out here. What the heck's going on?
Isn't he still missing or dead?
That's the last I heard, but there are a lot of people out there who think he's coming back, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, Elvis is still in Kalamazoo, Michigan with Jim Morrison. Either one of those could be VP also, I guess.
I hate to even talk about it. It seems
woohoo!
Distasteful to even bring it. But it just keeps coming. It's like the story that just won't go away.
Yeah.
It's, connected to Q, of course. So Why is this going? Why do people keep bringing this up? Like, is now look, they never found his body, right?
Right.
And this is like Truspiracies episode stuff, because we do this. I don't know if you've seen. I've been doing these Truspiracies programs where we take news that's it's so true it's unbelievable, right? That's what the slogan for that one is. But I don't know. People just won't let it go. Some people just won't let it go. They insist this is a real thing.
Yeah. Well, again, to put that aside, but to talk about the more serious aspect, they're still groping for this unity ticket that concept, right?
Yeah.
Now, John McCain, I like Sarah Palin. I thought she was a good choice for many reasons also. Yeah.
And Lori says that Tulsi is not WEF.
Yeah.
And you saying it, that's the first I've heard that. But is she a member of the WEF? Has she been there?
As best I understand, she's been to Davos, yeah. But so anyway, but McCain would have chose Lieberman. I would have been on board with that. And Lieberman, of course, just because Lieberman was one of the last of the very, very, very last, even remotely reasonable Democrats left. So anybody that is a Democrat or was even recently, for that reason alone, put the WEF stuff about Tulsi aside, because I've met her, I've talked to her when she was in town for Tudor Dixon. So do I like her campaigning for Republicans? Yes, it's helpful. I don't trust her. Anyone who's been recently a Democrat, no, you're off the list.
Dr. Drew. This is his website, drdrew.com. Tulsi Gabbard on WEF Young Global Leaders. The truth about her World Economic Forum ties. Ask Dr. Drew. Well, if anybody's going to know, it'll be Dr. Drew. It says Tulsi Gabbard is a target of conspiracy theories after her photo appeared as a young global leader on the World Economic Forum website. But the real story goes much deeper. Tulsi reveals the truth. Shocking reports link 2020 presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard to the WEF, a globalist organization founded by Klaus Schwab, and painted her as a controlled opposition agent in service to the New World Order. Despite publicly leaving the Democratic Party in 2022, Tulsi is subjected to constant attacks after her name and photo appeared as a young global leader on the World Economic Forum's website. What's the truth? Quote, I've never gone to any of their events, says Tulsi Gabbard on the November 25th episode of Ask Dr. Drew. I've literally not had anything to do with the World Economic Forum. She's never been invited to Davos, but if she ever was, Tulsi says she'd go and speak the same kind of truth to them as I speak to anyone else, she says, because I think it's important that we not just live within our own echo chambers, but we actually go out and vigorously engage in this marketplace of ideas. Look at my record, she says. I have been talking about and warning against the very things that these people are pushing. So how did the WEF get permission to use Tulsi Gabbard's name and photo on their website? They didn't. I was never asked to join, explains Tulsi. I was never informed by them that they had put my name or picture on their website. The reason why people are concerned about this is actually very important, she continues. I'm glad to just make clear that there is no connection between me and the World Economic Forum.
Well, again, she ran for president recently as a
Joseph,
Democrat.
Don't you be contradicting Dr. Drew, man.
She ran for president as a Democrat. She knew she was going to go nowhere as a Democrat. Her concern is power. So she left the Democrat Party to position to be a potential as a VP for Trump. Her only in to the power. I just cannot trust her.
Yeah, and Lori says that JFK's body was recovered. So I stand corrected, and she would know. Yeah, it's quite true. Divers recovered the bodies of Kennedy, Carolyn, and Lauren from 116 feet of water on July 21st, 1999.
Body doubles. Body doubles.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't.
If we're gonna, let's feed the conspiracy, Rick. They're
It was
body doubles.
too
It's
long
fake.
ago for me,
It's
man.
fake.
I forgot. I literally have forgotten way more than I know. I remember the plane crash. I remember, but I'm Canadian, so it was like over there in the periphery. I remember it all. I felt bad about it. He seemed like there was a bright future ahead of him, and maybe a future president. But America lost a whole lot when they lost John F. Kennedy Jr. And this whole thing about him coming back to be Trump's running mate, I don't know. I don't get why people are so attached to this stuff. But
It's going to be Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Alien ship that's had him on it for the last many years are going to land in the desert at that mashed potato structure. He's going to walk out and announce, "Yes, I am Trump's VP pick."
Yeah, So, but here's the thing. I'm gonna share something with you that potentially could blow some minds. People do keep sending me this stuff. Like, they're relentless. So I've been sent photos.
Well, you said Q. Let me just go on the record. When I was targeted by Hillary and Politico on Twitter in 2016, Q and the Q Army rallied around us and fought back. So I have an affinity to some of the Q Army. But again, I am part of no cult. To me, there are some QAnoners that are generally curious and want to know truth. And then there are the QAnutters, as I call them. And it sounds like you got direct link to the QAnutters.
Well, I'll tell you, I've had some people send me photos, right, of what they say are current photos of John F. Kennedy Jr. And they've said, this is him. And so what I've done is I've taken those photos and I've run facial recognition on them to verify whether it's the same person. You want to know what I found out?
Wow. I could believe it either way because you could deep fake that easily. So it wouldn't surprise me if you're going to tell me that facial recognition says it's him, because
Yes.
if you're doing a deep fake, you would be using images to indeed age him to have the facial recognition there.
Precisely. So yes, some of these did come back positive, but as I looked at them, even though it appears as though he's aged, facial hair, things like that, and some of these photos that came back with a positive facial recognition saying that's a positive ID, like 93% kind of positive ID, and it looks like it's JFK but Jr. but older. That's the way I think that it's being done, is with Photoshop or artificial intelligence to create from archived images new images that make him look older.
Yeah. They could take either of us and age us 20 years. And again, because they're using real images to then model an aged version of us, of course, facial recognition would likely say, I think it's them.
Yeah. So the thing is, we've heard these stories before. We keep hearing that JFK Jr. is coming back. He's coming back. And then, and there are actually, many occasions, there have been dates when people think that he's going to appear and make an announcement, and groups of people show up, and then it never happens. And so, I don't know, like this time around, these people are saying that he's going to appear and he will be announced as Donald Trump's running mate.
Yeah.
Well, but if that doesn't happen, will that then finally convince them that he's not alive anymore? Probably not.
Well, Bond said in the chat, I see, AI is not that smart and people shouldn't put too much trust in it. Well, I agree and disagree. As a former IT guy, I know what AI is capable of. So, yes, no, don't trust it at all. It's a potential threat. Is it that smart? No, in a sense it's not, but it's very capable. It can do so many bazillions of potential computations and actions in a nanosecond that it is dangerous. What the problem is, it's more dangerous when you have idiots like are behind Google behind it for evil. So yeah, AI, you're right, Bon. In many respects, it's just a tool. It is what we do with it, unless if such time, the singularity and it becomes self-aware and, all that stuff.
Well, we're talking about this on the wrong program. I should have saved all this for Truspiracies. News so true, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
And, maybe we'll have
welcome to the Rick Alex Jones Walker Show.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to do with that program is actually, not promote conspiracies. Just find news that's so wacky, but tell the truth about it, right? And if it is a conspiracy, expose it. Or if people are believing something that isn't true, expose that. Or if it is just crazy stuff that is true, I'll tell people it's true. And a lot, I tell you, the last episode, all the really, 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 really wacky stuff was all true. And some of the stuff that didn't seem so wacky wasn't true. Truth is stranger than fiction.
It's like aliens and UFOs. I am conflicted on all that. As a Christian, I recognize the Bible does not say in Genesis, and God created life on earth, and only on earth created life he. It doesn't say that. Angels existed before God created the earth and our solar system. By definition, other life existed before us then. By definition, they were not of our planet. They are extraterrestrial. So could they exist? Yes. Do I, in a way, hope they exist? Yes. Do I believe all of this nonsense, pro and con? No.
You got to come on for the Truspiracies episode, and we can talk about all that stuff over there. But let's try and steer this back into the mainstream just a little bit. Not that we're entirely mainstream, mind you, because we're a couple of crazy and what's the wild and crazy guys, just like Steve Martin. Right? But
call back. You mentioned Steve Martin earlier.
Okay. So all right. So I asked Joseph to come on and talk about Christi Noem. We've talked about the Palestine thing, and I'm sure I'm just going to throw it out there. But you guys want Joseph to stick around and keep on talking? Yeah. Okay.
I can hang around a little while more. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So and we'll have to get ready to do Lori's show after as well, because she's got a special guest on tonight. Oh, I can't remember who the guest is, and I haven't had time to prepare. I can't remember. Anyway, it's going to be a good show. Strange Bedfellows at 9 p.m. tonight. But anyway, just to let you guys know.
I've got a Twatter X space that I've got to go into at 8:30. So
yeah, well, we're going to probably wrap up about 8:30. So we've got
okay.
So that's cool. But let's move on here to Zelensky, because Russia has put him on their wanted list. So,
which generally you don't directly target the leader of another nation. I've never quite understood and figured that out. Part of me understands why that's militaristically stupid. You might martyr them and rally their people as they've been martyred. So that I think is in general military pun intended, why you don't do those sorts of things. The military code of conduct, there's some sense and reason behind that. But I mean,
I don't know, Joseph. Like it seems it's like it's getting to be routine because there are other leaders that they want arrested right now too.
Well, I was going to go into
Netanyahu and all the leaders in Israel, and now they want Zelensky, and actually Vladimir Putin is wanted by the ICC, and who else is wanted by the ICC? Oh, George Bush. Like I don't know where it ends, right? But like they're all wanted.
For potential war crimes, that's another thing, and have an actual trial than targeting for assassination.
Yeah, so here it is, ABC. Russia puts Ukrainian President Zelensky on its wanted list. This is being reported widely. This is actually an Associated Press version of the story shared through ABC's website. So they put Vladimir Zelensky on its wanted list. Russia's state media reported today. He's wanted on unspecified criminal charges, along with Ukraine's ground forces commander, General Alexander Pavlyuk. Not clarifying the allegations against any of these men, but they want them. If I were either of them, I would not want to fall into Russian hands, given what's going on over there. They have laws over in Russia criminalizing the rehabilitation of Nazism. That includes punishing the desecration of war memorials. So I'm sure that if they got a hold of Zelensky, they would throw their book at him for sure.
Yeah, that's that whole we're denazifying rhetoric, one of the umpteen million excuses thrown at the wall like spaghetti to see what sticks, right? If Putin wants to denazify somewhere, invade California. There's still more neo-Nazis there, I will say it over and over, than there are in Ukraine.
Yeah, there's Lori saying that it's Kenneth Jefferson. That's right. Thank you, Lori. He's a filmmaker. His movie, I guess we'll be talking a bit about that, is Fatal Error. And I think we're going to get into issues like racism and intolerance and the challenges facing the black community, black population in America because of politics and changes in culture and religion and family values and things like that. So I think that's what his whole focus is.
Let's go back to the Zelensky thing.
Sure.
You want to talk about supporting Nazism? Let's go there. Russia and China supporting Iran, which is behind Hamas and Hezbollah, who literally want to recreate the concentration camps. They are backing people who are descendants of actual Nazis who were allied with the Nazis. You could find the picture of the Mufti meeting with Hitler. A lot of the Arab states at that time, or territories, not officially states, till broken up and divided up after World War II, but they were allied with Hitler and the Nazis because they agreed with the whole extermination of the Jews thing. So if you want to tie those directly supporting Nazis, it's the twits on our campuses and Putin and Xi backing Iran, Hamas, and Hezbollah. Actual Nazis. Iran, derived from Aryan. Does that sound at all familiar?
You know, Joseph, you speak a lot of truth, and it's difficult for people to follow you and understand you because it's all so crazy. I mean, it is.
It sounds conspiracy.
It does actually, but there
It's
is.
fact. It's
Yeah,
fact.
and it's because these Arab nations like Iran, they've adopted, well, they are Islamo-fascistic. They've merged Islamic culture, ideology, religion with authoritarian statism,
Yep.
nationalism.
The
So-
jihadist version of Islam is Islamo-fascist, absolutely. And again, it's also true, dealing in history here. Yes, the U.S. and Iran when the Shah was in charge, and yes, we helped bring him to power, and the Iranians experienced freedom. You could see the pictures in the 70s of the women on their beaches in bikinis. We supported them as a more secular society, and of course, now that the Islamo-fascist revolution
Well-
overthrew them, Russia and China are their allies.
How would you respond to people who say that the United States was an imperialist power that was propping up the regime in Iran that was pro-American prior to its falling and the Ayatollahs taking over?
We were. Yeah, absolutely. We were.
At least you're honest. Yeah.
What do you expect? I just said that. We were allied with the Shah. We helped put him in power. We helped try to keep him in power. Not because of the Cold War in part and geopolitical alliances of that nature, as well as aren't we supposed to be the freedom-loving people and wanting them to have their own freedom of choices there, unlike no choices under the Islamo fascism they have today? So, yes. Did we? Yes. I don't come here to lie and spin.
Very interesting stuff. How do you feel? What is your feeling personally on Nazism?
We defeated it. We defeated the nation that most represented it, but it's tough to defeat an ideology entirely. It's never going to be fully wiped out. But being of German descent and German family that escaped World War I, still then had family there in World War II. None of them were Nazis. I've said this over and over again. I oppose all left-wingism governments. Fascism, Nazism, communism, socialism, monarchy. I oppose all those leftist ideologies, full stop, period. I support Israel.
Okay, so a lot of people would put Nazism, fascism on the right side of the political spectrum. I don't do that either.
Let me debunk that. That's a left-wing talking point. Part of the distortion, distraction, deflection. What is Nazism? Fascism. It is full top-down government control. That's leftist. On the right side of the spectrum, the farthest right is anarchy. And I've written on this several times because Antifa calls himself Antifa is false flagish to disguise that they are the fascists because they use anarchist tactics normally associated with anarchists does not make them anarchists. They use that tactic to try to tear down the West so they can bring in a left-wing full fascist government. Total control.
I'm I'm just interested, and I don't mean to put you on the spot because I didn't tell you we're going to talk about this, and this is so it might be difficult to give me a finely crafted answer here, but how do you define Nazism? Or do you need time to think about it?
Again, I mean,
'cause it's kind of a complex question. Actually, it might seem simple, but there's more to it than the Steven Spielberg or Hogan's Heroes cliched guy in a suit, in a Nazi uniform.
Again, and I might get myself in trouble because I'm willing to play the what ifs and the both sides
I don't want you to get yourself into trouble because I've asked you a question out of the blue, and it's this is a minefield, right? So I don't want to sabotage you here, sir. I'm just trying to help clarify things for the public.
I want to answer it, but let me answer it in this way. Let's just put ourselves in 1930s again, right? We've got to look at what they were. Now, there was Mussolini El Duce fascism, there was German fascism, there was Franco fascism. So they alone can't agree necessarily totally on what fascism or Nazism is.
Comes in different flavors, just like communism, actually, and socialism. It's like,
yes. Yeah. If you were to poll the people in Germany in the 1930s, and again, it's estimated that only 7% of Germans were actual Nazis. Look how that turned out. The same argument about Islamofascism. We're not talking about all Muslims. If only 10% of the how many billion Muslims are actually Islamofascists, that's a problem.
Okay,
but they would have defined it differently. They wouldn't have given you the same answer in 1930s Germany. It was different things to different people.
Well, and in the 1930s, people did not have the benefit of hindsight, right? So they're getting trapped in crazy ideas that they'd never maybe been exposed to in that way before. So lessons to be learned still instead of history to learn from.
Yeah.
But the question I had is, you mentioned only 7% of the population in Germany was actually Nazis. Like, I don't know where that comes from. Was that just something you kind of remembered from the top of your head, or do you have more ways to clarify that?
I don't know where the stat came from, and it's not like there was Rasmussen polls operating in 1930s Germany.
Huge crowds out for those rallies, like are all those people Nazis, like they're supporting Hitler, but I mean, but
a lot
mass
of them,
mob mentality. It's like people being
lot of them
around
were
by the nose.
A lot of them were probably just happy Hitler had the trains running on time, right? Hey, it was a good life. It was like the Roaring 20s in the U.S. for a while in Germany 30s. A lot of people got caught up that were not of the let's slaughter all the Jews mentality.
But look what's going on right now, Joseph, and I mean, you can comment on this, but I'm alarmed because I see people that a couple of years ago would never have said the kinds of things that they're saying right now. And they've like changed, or maybe, I don't know if it's because they always had these thoughts inside and now they seem to feel like they have permission to let it out, or if there's some psychosis going on where they're following the mob, like they're part of the mob mentality, kind of like what we saw during the pandemic when people were turning on their neighbors and screaming at people because they didn't have a mask on. And it's like it just crazy stuff. Like they've all gone nuts. And I just see all this bigotry and hatred and division and prejudice and anti-Jew talk and like, you're a Zionist, which means, you know what it really means. Like, so are those people Nazis, or are they being manipulated psychologically? And if they, like, what point do you start to lay blame? Like these young guys I showed earlier tonight, harassing, intimidating, bullying that Jewish student who was just trying to get onto campus, and they're threatening to beat him up. And like, like those guys, that even if they are just psychologically manipulated, like they've got a serious freaking problem. Okay? And that's unacceptable. We need to stop that. But at what point do you start to, this is a difficult question. Where do you start to lay blame? Where do you begin to forgive people? What constitutes somebody being an actual Nazi? Do you have to put the uniform on with the swastika, or is it what's in your heart, or is it how you feel, what you think, how do you classify someone when you don't even really know what's in their minds, unless it's Minority Report time and we start to read people's minds and have pre-crimes and judge people based on, I don't know, what they've said online or social media, and try to, you see what I'm saying?
Well, I tried to separate again. Try to put yourself in that time, and it was different. Like you said, we all have the hindsight perspective now. And Nazism today is pretty much clear anti-Semitic. We want to kill all Jews. I mean, the bottom line comes to that, usually.
So
they're supporting that. They're supporting that.
Here's what I want to clarify with you, right? You're a Christitutionalist, you say. So that's a kind of a term that you've adopted, but I'd say you're conservative. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, I invented Christitutionalist because, of course, conservative, liberal. I'm like Reagan. Reagan said, I don't want the right paradigm bring me up, down. Does it lift up the people, or does it lift up government and tear down freedoms? So I wanted to introduce that new paradigm also, to get away from liberal conservative that have become slurs. So I created Christitutionalist, Christian-based constitutionalism.
So that would alarm some people immediately, just because you get that Christian in there. So they're automatically probably thinking that you're some sort of a white Christian nationalist, white supremacist or something.
No. Exactly. But again, what they don't understand, they automatically want to slur, right? So I agree. There is that problem or concern. They could try to associate that. That is not what it is. I am all about, like I say on the back of the book, the Jeffersonian letter, the left bastardization of his letter. It's not in our founding documents about the federal government cannot establish its own official religion. The states could, and many of the states did. There's not a separation of church and state, and the left wants separation from church to state. So Christitutionalism, if you want to put an ism on the end, is all about our Judeo-Christian foundations.
I would, you combine religion with state power, and you really combine them. Okay, like Islamo-fascists, and let me finish. You combine those two things, and if you're looking at something like they have in Iran, that, in my mind, is very fascistic, because you've combined these things, but it's mandatory, right? This and the laws that they have in Iran are derived from Islamism, right? So, because that forms the actual, that is the final word on the law, is the religion, right? And because it's more authoritarian and it overarches, and they're so entwined, that to me is a very fascistic thing. And America, even though it's you have a foundation of Judeo-Christian values, it's not mandatory. People can have any religion they want. And even though it's founded with those principles, you can be a Muslim, you can be a Buddhist, you can be anything you want. And that's enshrined as well in what the founding fathers wanted. That's what America has been
Yeah.
about. So that, in my mind, is not fascistic, even though there's a religious element to the Constitution, to government, to the founding of the country. It's not fascistic in that sense.
The constitutionalist is the latter, not the former. I'm not talking about merging Christianity and the state. It is anti-federalist. It is, even though most of our laws are indeed based on biblical tenets, thou shalt not murder. It's not thou shalt not kill. It's thou shalt not murder innocents. Biblical self-defense, it's in there. You can. The death penalty, Genesis, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, thou shalt, those who kill, those who sheddeth man's blood shall have his blood sheddeth by man back, more or less, right? The death penalty is biblical. So killing is acceptable in certain situations. Murder of innocents is not. And yes, this is very much an anti-federalist movement. Smaller government, not merging Christianity with an like the Purge, like the idiots on the left like to point to the Purge films and say anyone who's a Christian wants a theological fascistic state like you're talking about, based on Christianity, like the Islamofascism is based on a warped aspects of Islam. So yeah, no, not that.
So this is a good conversation. I'm glad we had this, because what we've been able to firmly establish here is that you are not a Nazi.
Again, I still have no doubt someone after this show will be on Twitter. Blah, 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 blah. He's a Nazi. He's a Nazi. And you know who I'm talking about.
Well, it's okay. But I just wanted to establish that, since we were in the conversation anyway. And since you're not a Nazi, I guess you can come back.
Well, again, certain people have to use that Zelensky tactic. Right, they can't win on the merits of discussions.
Well,
so,
it's cool, man. Like, I love you, and that's just all there is to that. So I know what you're all about, and I think that you're very freedom-oriented. You're limited government, I think, generally
absolutely,
speaking.
Yes.
And
I'm not no government.
You're certainly not an anarchist.
Yeah, I'm not an anarchist. I'm to the left of the far right and absolutely opposed to, again, all the leftist top-down tyranny, fascism, communism, socialism, monarchy.
Authoritarian.
Authoritarian. Yeah. That consolidates power in a small group of people. That's all leftism. And I oppose every version of that whatsoever. And we're getting to like 8:30.
We are.
I'm
It's
going to
time
have
to
to
wrap
drop
up. So I'm going to leave it to you for a final word as we wrap up for the evening, sir.
Well, you know what? Just to lighten it up. I saw The Fall Guy at the theater the other day. Loved the movie.
The Fall Guy?
The Fall Guy.
Based on the TV show?
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm not even paying attention. I didn't know they did that.
Great. Any and every excuse to find a way to get an extra stunt in, because it is, of course, dedicated to stunt people. The whole point of the film. It's a blast. It's so, action, explosions, way over. Some drama and romance.
Is Lee Majors in it? Does he make a cameo?
Well, I shouldn't say it, but yes, he makes a cameo. There are I will say that because I won't spoil other cameos at the end, though. Okay. There's a real surprising one that's kind of fun at the end that you won't see coming. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. It's great, wild over the top stuff. And Because, yes, I love the Fall Guy TV series.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to check it out. I didn't even know them. I don't pay much attention to
Hey,
Hollywood stuff
like
anymore. But
I've got an article on thelibertybeacon.com. Occasional distractions, not only okay, but healthy. It's if you're in the bread and circus 24/7, that's a big problem. But we all need occasional escapism.
True enough, sir. Well, there you have it, folks. Love all you guys. Love you, Joseph. Thank you for coming on tonight and helping us with the dead dog story. That was fantastic, sir. I'll let you go, and I will wrap up for the night. And I'll let you get on to your other podcast.
Love you, brother. Take care. God bless.
See you, man. See ya. And there you have it. And if you would like to support the program, she woke up this morning. Her dog was dead. She went and shot him right in the head. She's Christi Noem. Sorry, I had to do it. It was just terrible. Oh my goodness. I'll be back tomorrow night, guys. If you want to support the show, you can do that by donating at maverickdonations.com or over at freedomreporters.com. I did receive a couple of donations in the last week, and I am so appreciative, and I need to get around to sending out my thank you emails. I'll be doing that hopefully in the next day or two. I'm just so darn busy. It's hard to keep up. So I'll just say thank you right here. More helpful than you can possibly know. Really, really, really helpful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And you can support the channel at freedomreporters.com, folks. And make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you subscribe over on YouTube. And yeah, please take a look over there at our Rumble channels. And subscribe over there too, because that's the free speech platform. And we ain't going to get banned over there as we have been on Facebook. That being said, I will be back tomorrow night. Same time, same channel. Maverick News Channel. Catch y'all on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.